We're back with Georgene Louis. She's the representative of District 26. We're talking to her about her run in the legislative session and her experience with it. So you went into the legislature roundhouse. Tell us that, before we went for break, you were talking a little bit about that. Let's talk about it a little bit more and then we get into the actual committees and stuff.
Okay.
So experience was great.
Experience was great. Yeah. Okay. We had a lot of new faces as freshmen, so we all kind of came together and were really helping one another out. So that was really refreshing, and I think it eased some of the nervousness.
So it's pretty friendly to freshmen.
Yeah, it really was. It really was because of course you have the incumbent support; they want you to do well, and then you have the other newly elected representatives. So it was very supportive.
It's very good. And then I think they go over all the different committees and stuff. And then do you eventually get to select a committee, or is it presented to you by choice, or?
You're asked what committees you prefer to sit on, and so we gave those selection choices like a couple of months prior to the session beginning, and then the speaker is the one that appoints everyone to committees.
Okay, so you decide on the judiciary?
Yes, yes.
With Gail Chasey, I think she's the chairman, you're the vice chair.
I am the vice chair. So as a freshman, that was really exciting. To be in that position. Representative Chasey was a great model to follow, and she ran the committees very efficiently. So I admire her for that, but she also served as a great mentor and allowed me to really take on the role of chairing the committee too when she had to run out to go.
So in her absence, you were chairing the committees.
Yes, yes.
A good experience for
you. It was,
yes.
It was.
And she's a great person, a great model. I know she's very helpful, a lot of experience, been there for many years.
Yes.
We're trying to get her on our show too. And I think last season she was supposed to come. I'm not sure what happened, but I was trying to get her back again.
Yeah.
So if you see her, let her know.
I'll let her know. I'll let her know.
We're still waiting on her. Okay.
She would be great to have.
Okay, so talk a little bit about the legislations you worked on. I know there was some key legislations that you dearly cared about.
Yes.
Let you talk about them.
One of the bills, especially because of the climate of New Mexico, was the work sharing bill. So that bill has been enacted in, I believe, 23 other states and the District of Columbia. And part of that was really to address the hardship that employers are feeling. What it would have allowed would, instead of laying off employees, employers would have the opportunity to reduce their hours, and then they would receive partial unemployment. So it was absolutely voluntary had it been enacted. So there was just so many benefits to that. So that was one of the things I was involved in.
So what do you think regarding that bill? What do you think are the good parts? Is there any side to it that you felt that was not going to work, or you felt the entire bill was pretty constructed so it would be pretty beneficial to business owners? Because there was some confusion as far as, well, if they dip into the unemployment could run out.
Right, right.
So that's what the critics were saying about the bill.
Yeah, I think there was a few, or at least a couple of criticisms towards it, and some of it was that it would place a huge burden on the employer, because then it would be depleting some of the unemployment funds that they put in. But it would have been totally voluntary. Also, another thing was that it would have required the employees to maintain the employees' health and retirement benefits. But as I talk to business owners, especially those in small business,
the small business.
Yeah. I mean, especially when times were really, really hard and they were feeling the effect. A couple of my friends that own businesses and had, 10 or so employees, really actually took a pay cut themselves because they didn't want to lay off these employees. And I think, especially in those smaller businesses, they see themselves as a family. And it was looking out for their family and putting their interests aside. So I thought that was really almost heroic on their end. Because it was voluntary, I received a lot of positive input.
I see. So business owners actually went for it. They didn't feel that it was something that, so I'm thinking that it's really in their benefit.
Yeah, it is. It is, because definitely paying for partial unemployment, if you're only reducing your employees' hours, say by 4 hours per week.
And there's a percentage there?
It is a percentage,
Okay.
but you're not paying full unemployment benefits. So if you look at it in that kind of cost-benefit manner, it works out better for them to only pay, you know, to make up that 4 hours as opposed to 40 hours a week.
Correct. Now they're getting reimbursed. I'm trying to understand this bill here.
Yeah.
So they're getting reimbursed through the unemployment, or is it directly paid out to the employees?
It would be through Workforce Solutions, where they would pay out that to the employees. There's federal law that would have allowed the employers to receive reimbursement. And I think there was some criticism about that too, because if it wasn't enacted, then it would have been down the road as opposed to some other states that acted quickly, and some of those funds were depleting. But I think even without reimbursement funds, it still would have been a great opportunity for employers and employees to agree upon this and work something out so that we keep New Mexicans working.
Was there federal funding attached to this?
There wasn't. We wrote it so that it could be, it would meet the criteria for funds to be reimbursed by the feds.
I see. So there was a little caveat there.
Right, right.
Okay, so what other bills did you work on? This is something that business owners really like. I was watching that very closely. And
Yeah.
So what others, a couple others that stick out to you that you felt that you really cared about for the being in there first time?
We also had a very interesting bill that I think received a lot of attention, which was a termination of parental rights when children were conceived of rape. So that was actually a bipartisan bill with Representative Baldonado, and really just trying to address issues that might come up. You know, it's not rare, or excuse me, it's not common where these occurrences happen, but in the event that a woman was raped, we wanted to look out for her safety and that of her child, and really worked with so many people, which was great. It was great to have that input. Professor Cedillo Lopez actually had some great input on that bill too, and
so it received pretty well. Okay, I'm not sure about that bill. I haven't really looked into that one.
Yeah.
We'll take another break. When
Okay.
we come back, we'll get into some of the other legislations. Okay.
Great.
All right. We'll be back with Georgene Louis, Representative District 26.